peace, love, the flower child hippie movement, the anti-establishment. I could relate to that because that was very much a part of me inside. And so I gravitated towards that movement. I had hair down past my shoulders, had mutton chop sideburns. In fact, a friend of mine, senior year in high school, had enlisted into the Navy for 6 years. And I looked at him and went, God, you idiot. I will shoot myself in the foot. I will blow my leg off. I am going to Canada. I will not do military service for this country. My stepfather was a veteran of World War II. No, that didn't go over real well with him, especially my protest demonstrations and my signs and my love beads and so forth. And he once said, you know, you ungrateful. You don't care about the sacrifice I made. I didn't ask him to do that. So what? Who cares? I was very flippant and cocky. And one day I called my mother and says, Mom, I'm bored. Man, I can't stand this. She goes, go down and talk to the recruiter. And I went, okay, I'm going to go down and give these guys one hard time. And so I went down to the recruiter, and their golden tongue that the recruiters seemed to have just sucked me right in. And so 3 months after I had said I would blow my leg off, I go to Canada, no way will I serve my country, I raised my hand and said, I do. And one night I was sitting in the barracks, bending elbows with about 6 of my comrades. And for some reason we were talking and got into our family history. And I remember one individual was from New Hampshire, and so he was from early Puritan stock. Another individual was from New Jersey and talked about his grandfather's experience of seeing the Statue of Liberty and so forth. And it went around the group. All of them had something in their family history that gave them some roots. And my comment was, I bet most of my ancestors came here after the Revolution. So what does the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the flag have to do with me? Nothing. I don't care about it. I won't salute it. I won't defend it. I am strictly here in the service to get my 4 years of college. When I got out of the service and went home to Colorado, and I was standing in my bedroom, and my grandmother came in and walked up to me and looked at me and says, "What is wrong? You seem very depressed." And I replied, "Grandma, out of the 60,000 men and women who died in Vietnam, I'm sure a couple of them would like to have lived. And I don't think it's fair because I can't trade places with them. I don't like life. I don't know who I am, what I am, why I'm here, where I'm going." Right after that is when I began seriously to work on finding my family history. I think in family history research, people begin their genealogy with an interest of wanting to find aristocracy, some nobility. But as I researched, I wasn't finding any of this. I was finding a bunch of dirt farmers. As I went through the generations, I started to find several who had served in the military. I had several fight in the King Philip's War, the 1670s. I had 3 who served in the French and Indian War. Then I had 10 serve in the American Revolution. How could I in the barracks say I have nothing to do with the American Revolution, the Constitution? Out of the 10 ancestors that served in the Revolution, the one I can gather the most history on is John Strawn. He enlisted into Colonel Daniel Morgan's riflemen, or Morgan's Rangers. Washington called them his eyes and ears. Their greatest moment came at the Battle of Saratoga. John Burgoyne, the British general, was coming down out of Canada. The armies met at Freeman's Farm. The men who won the battle that day was Colonel Daniel Morgan and his 500 riflemen. And John Strawn, Private John Strawn, was one of those soldiers standing on that battlefield that day. After I had gathered a lot of this information and found this out, I was at an NBA game. The anthem was being played, and I looked up. I was sitting on the floor, and I looked up in the rafters, and there was hung the American flag. And I looked at that flag, and it's like I could see. I mean, I didn't see, but it's through my mind was pictures of these ancestors in their uniforms. And this voice in my head saying, "You ungrateful son. Of all that we have done, all that we have endured, all that we have sacrificed, and you don't appreciate any of it. You aren't worthy to be my grandson, to be my descendant." And I stood up, looking at the flag, and I raised my hand. And I have done so ever since. As a photojournalist, the answer came on an assignment. I was, a couple of weeks later, was sent to the local Scottish Highland Games. I don't know if it was the skirl of the pipes, the flash of tartan, the glint of the clan badges. I don't know what it was. But it was like coming home. And then it dawned on me, the next level of family history research is taking that research and teaching your family. Learning about the culture of your forefathers, their traditions, and implementing into your family some of those traditions and some of those cultures. Come alive. Reach back into the past and bring that forward. I feel personally that taking an interest in one's family history, you help to understand who you are, what is expected of you. Why are you here now and not 100 years ago or 200 years ago or 50 years from now, down the road? To me, the study of my pedigree and what they've done has helped me to understand why I am here and what my role is here in this life. One's ancestors want to be remembered. They all want to be remembered. They want their story told and retold so that the generations to come will know where they came from, who they are, and what was sacrificed for them. And when the call comes, and I really hope my sons will never have to serve in the service. But if the occasion comes that they have to do military service, I am not going to balk, because it is the legacy of my family to fight for independence, to fight for liberty, to fight for freedom. That is the role of my forefathers, which has also been handed down to me, which is to be handed down for the generations to come.